As an educationalist, I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning. And I've learnt something new myself this morning with the help of the young ladies who've been bringing you into the room. So I would like to say, Falsha Roa. That's my second Gaelic statement. My other one is Sláinte. Okay, welcome to the third graduation ceremony of Longford International College. This is a special day for all of our graduates, and I'm pleased to see that the occasion is being supported both physically and virtually, and that it's been shared by many family, friends, and some of our invited guests. To have reached this point in your life is a major achievement, and of that you should be very proud. Longford was conceived by two friends a few years ago over a cup of coffee at an exhibition in London. We've moved on since then. As I say, this is our third graduation, and now we're on the cusp of something bigger. We do intend to grow over the next few years, so watch this space. As some of you will probably remember, I love doing lectures, and I never miss an opportunity to explain the importance of things like supply chain management. Do you remember that? Strategic drift. Do you remember that? Oh, yes. Or something else that's truly riveting. So, sit back and take in the importance of supply chain management and market issues that led to the strategic downfall of Airbus with their A380. Well, hands up. How many of you have flown on the Super Jumbo and experienced the luxurious upper deck? No hands? Well, I rest my case. You're one, okay. I still rest my case. Your responses show that it was a complete white elephant. As I said, this is our third graduation, and we've decided to do something different this year, so that we're 100% sure that you are deserving of your awards. You're going to receive, you've been asked to do one final assessment. We're going to get this assignment done and graded before we issue any certificates. So have a look under your chairs, and you will find that there's a multi-choice questionnaire for you to fill in. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? And the shock and the horror on your faces made the prank all the worthwhile. But I have to say, I am a teacher, and I've had a very good mentor in my teaching. If there's one guy in this room who knows how to play a prank, it's him. And we've all been subjected to that at some point in our careers, whether you be a student or whether you be a colleague. Okay, we've lightened the mood. Let's now get down to some serious discussion. We live in an uncertain world, and events of the last 12 months have shown that the only certainty in this world is change and uncertainty. Last week was quite an eclectic week for my family. My eldest grandson did his first week's work experience, and he said after 4 full days of work experience that he was absolutely and utterly worn out. Well, they were words to that effect. He's been dreaming of owning a Porsche now for many years, but he now knows that to get one, he will have to work really hard. Good luck, Harvey. We also had a close family birthday to celebrate, but we also attended the funeral of a family member who we hadn't seen for quite a while. We were quite taken aback at the number of people who had turned up to pay their last respects, and there was standing room only in the chapel. The priest gave a eulogy that illustrated just how well respected the lady was, and it seems that she only ever did good things and touched many lives. She was only 60 years old. The point of mentioning this is that we get just one shot at this life, and we need to give it our best shot. Do good things, help others, and be remembered for being one of the good guys. Your education will be a turning point in your lives, and you should take your learning and apply it wherever you can to make this uncertain world a better place. I'll finish off with a couple of sayings that come from my family. My wife's grandfather, now there's a wise man if I ever met one, he used to say that the brain is like any other muscle in the body, and if you don't use it, it will become flabby. Now, I have a learned friend here who will tell me that that's anatomically incorrect, but it's true all the same. Some of you will have used your brains that you never thought possible before Longford, and look at what you've achieved. But as the saying goes, you must keep going. You must keep using them. And I'm sure that Vince will have a pile of application forms for you to sign up for your next programme when he gets a chance. The other saying comes from my dear mum. She used to say to me as a kid, get your qualifications. Once you have them, no one can take them off you. You'll soon get your certificates. In recognition of your achievements, they are yours and you have earned them. Treasure them and be proud of them. Show them to your family and your kids so that they can try to emulate you, and then use them as building blocks for the future. As a truly international college, and I need to put my glasses on for this because the print on Vince's spreadsheet's a little bit small. As a truly international college, and most of our programs, if not the majority of them, are delivered online, we have students from all over the world. We have students from Pakistan, the Middle East, the US, and for them to be here to celebrate their achievements today is not possible. They're busy people, they have family and commitments. That doesn't mean to say that we're not going to recognise them. So for the people who are not able to be with us today, I'll read out their names so that if they're watching online or if they watch the recording of this afterwards, they can see that their achievement has been recognised too. So for MBA, Christopher Joyce, Mohammed Faraz Makul, Josh Clark, Sean Patrick Morris, Gudia Patel, Guru Bergsvand, Fatah Abid Rama, Elizabeth Turland, Kevin Braybrook, Hayley Elizabeth Ladd, Jonathan Klinsman, Anja Sonsfeld, Neil McManus, and Adrian Lamb. MBA, well done. With an MSc, Cathal Malone, Craig Lynch, Brian Naivaburu, MSc, well done. With a postgraduate diploma in emotional intelligence that was run with the Elmhurst Dance Academy in Birmingham, Sue Barber, Tracy Cowper, Samantha Gavrovsky, Daniel Grieve-Carter, Gloria Grigolite, Alex Harrison, Michelle Lester, Lee Robinson, Will Rowsley, Alex Sherman, Leslie Ann Tully, and Lucy Wensley. With a diploma in sports and exercise psychology, Lucy Bronze, Courtney Brosnan, John Downey, Martin Fitzgerald, Seamus Hurley, Rob Kearns, Kevin Kelly, Kieran Lillis, Aisha Masaka, Marin Major, Sophie Huweg, Laura Thompson, Maria Thorisa-Dottir, Tommy Walsh. And then a postgraduate diploma of business administration. These are our current cohort of students. Sarah Booth, Giovanni Cigliano, Dominique Jansen, Matthew O'Donnell, Guru Petterson, Dan Roberts, Ahmed Waba, Sean Weatherall, and Shalina Zazorski. those are all students who couldn't be with us today because they obviously have other commitments and they couldn't get the travel, but they need to be recognised. Okay, I'm now going to call up the students who are going to receive their awards in person today. And I'll start with Michael Wolfgang Feiler. Rita Kenny. Jeffrey Moran. Fraser Graham McRobert. Amy O'Connor. Fiona O'Donnell. Margaret Rachel Marie Shearer. Asiyumu Yimamu. And the last of the MBAs, Katie Zellen. The last two that I'm going to announce think that they're here because they may have finished, but they haven't. Because they have a postgraduate diploma, and that means they have another stage to go, and we won't let you go. So, Chloe Collins. Academic Award to Barry Mocker. Please be seated, my friends. Well done to all of you, whether you are here physically or virtually. You've earned your award. As I said, go and use it for the good of society and the world. I spoke to you in my lectures, if you attended my lectures, about things like sustainability. You may have felt at the time that I was talking a little bit too far in the future, but the future is here and now, and those learnings need to be put into practice. We have two distinguished guests with us today who will be receiving an honorary doctorate of the college. And I will ask Emeritus Professor Vince to read the citation for Johnny Logan. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, Mrs. Vice President, graduates, families, distinguished guests, and members of the academic community. We now come to one of the most cherished moments in our ceremony, that the conferral of an honorary doctorate through our partners, the Business Rushford School of Geneva and Longford College. It's awarded not simply in recognition of achievement, but in celebration of a life's work, of enduring impact on society, culture, and the human spirit. Today, it's my profound privilege and pleasure to present this honour to a man whose voice has not only represented Ireland, but has defined it for generations around the world to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak of none other than Mr. Sean Sherrard, better known to millions by his stage name of Johnny Logan. Johnny Logan is not just a singer or a songwriter. He is an icon of Irish music and an ambassador of Irish identity. His journey is one of talent, of tenacity, and timelessness. Born in Australia of Irish parents, Sean moved to Ireland as a child, where his family settled and his creative talents began to emerge. His father, Patrick O'Hagan, a celebrated tenor, performed in venues across the globe, including for President John F. Kennedy, for Pope Paul VI, and many others. The legacy of music, of performance, and national pride was passed down to his son, who would one day carry the Irish flag higher than any performer before him. In 1980, the world heard Johnny Logan singing What's Another Year. It was a tender, soaring ballad that captured the hearts of a continent. And with that song, he secured Ireland's second ever win in the Eurovision Song Contest. But he didn't stop there. 7 years later, in 1987, he returned to the Eurovision, this time not only as a performer, but as a writer too, of Hold Me Now, a song that remains one of the most beloved in the competition's history. With it, Johnny Logan did something no one else has done before. He has won the Eurovision twice as a performer. And yet again, in 1992, he wrote Why Me, performed by Linda Martin, who went on to win Ireland for a third Eurovision title. That made Johnny Logan the only artist in the Eurovision history to have won 3 times, as a singer and as a songwriter. But Johnny's contribution goes beyond trophies and charts. Johnny gave Ireland more than 3 Eurovision titles. He gave us a voice, and when we were still finding our place on the European stage. He showed to all that a small island could create music that was not only commercially successful, but emotionally universal, and that could move hearts from Lisbon to Helsinki and from Tel Aviv to Oslo. In many ways, Johnny's music did for Ireland in the 1980s and the 1990s what our sports teams and diplomats were striving to do, and that was to project confidence, unity, and a cultural pride on the international arena. His ballads didn't just speak of love or heartbreak, they spoke of resilience, of longing, of Irish emotional depth. His music reminded us that vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a power. Today, he continues to perform, record and inspire. His music remains etched on the consciousness of those who lived through those magical Eurovision moments, and it continues to resonate with new generations, discovering the richness of Ireland's music tradition. At Longford International College, we believe that education is not confined to lecture halls, as Tony mentioned. We believe that learning takes place through art, through music, and through the shared experience of storytelling. In fact, we believe much more. We believe that sport and education has the power to bring people together. It's education that will keep them together. Johnny Logan has used his gifts not only to entertain, but to unite people across borders, to give Ireland a voice that transcends politics and history, and to inspire artists to follow in their own path. His success was not handed to him. It was earned through years of dedication, through years of sacrifice, and a belief in the power of song. In this, he shares something profound with our graduates, the understanding that real achievement is born out of perseverance, authenticity, and the courage to be yourself. We honour him today, and we also affirm that Longford International College stands for the creativity is not a luxury, it's a force of leadership. That music is not entertainment alone, it's an education of the heart. And that Irish culture, expressed through artists like Johnny Logan, can speak to the world with a clarity, with a dignity, and with depth. And for his immense contribution to Irish cultural identity, for bringing international acclaim to our nation through music, and for inspiring generations to dream boldly and to sing bravely, we are proud to confer upon Mr. Sean Sherrard, Johnny Logan, the Honorary Doctor of Philosophy. So Sean, on behalf of us all at Longford International College, we thank you. We thank you for your voice, your music, and your message. And we thank you for showing us that a melody sung from the heart can indeed move the world. So if you would like to join me in welcoming Dr. Sean Sherrard to the podium.
Thank you very much, Vincent. That was much more than I expected and quite emotional for me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, President, Vice President, graduates, families, distinguished guests and member of the academic community, I'd like to begin by congratulating all of the recipients here today, the ones online. When Professor Vincent English approached me with his plan to give me this great honour, took me completely by surprise. When he told me I had to make a speech, my reaction was, oh God, this is going to be a lot harder than singing for me. So here goes. First of all, once again, I'd like to thank Professor English and the conferring body for this honorary doctorate. I've always been proud of my Irish roots, but never more so than today. The Ireland I grew up in was much different from the Ireland of today. It was a country of emigration, it was less successful, and we were more isolated. I carried that Ireland with me through Europe in the 80s and 90s, and I'm still doing it today, even though we are now regarded as a much more successful nation. Building a career outside of your homeland is extremely difficult in the music industry. It certainly was back then. You have to work twice as hard to be successful, as every country has their own homegrown artist who competes with you for the same work. Over the years, I opened doors all over Europe through TV, radio, live concerts from Germany to Scandinavia, Benelux countries to Switzerland, Austria and beyond. I've always called Ireland my home, but it would be remiss of me if I didn't acknowledge the people from all over Europe who have taken my music and me to their hearts and allowed me to take them to mine. It's been a long and a very long, hard road, but now as I stand here, 71 years old, what's another year is right. I can look back over my career with all the ups and downs, and it's been a wild journey, but what a ride. I'd like to thank everyone. I would like everyone to know how honoured I am to receive this honorary doctorate of philosophy. I feel very strongly now that my mother and my father and my brothers, Michael and Eamon, who have sadly passed away, but they're watching me now, and I know they're really proud. I'm also very grateful to my family who are here with me today to share this moment. My eldest son Adam actually suggested that I asked the faculty could they play Rock and Roll Doctor by Little Feat as I walked up here to collect the doctorate, because academia was never something I aspired to. As a matter of fact, my father was once told by a teacher that my brother Michael and myself should get jobs with our hands, as we'd never amount to anything in business. But like my brother, I just kept dreaming, working hard, and when I ran into a brick wall, I kept pushing until it crumbled. The result was 3 Eurovision wins, 45 years of touring all over Europe to sold-out venues, performing for multiple heads of state, from Pope John Paul in the Vatican City to the Queen of England in the London Palladium. More millions of records sold and all that sort of stuff. That's another thing altogether. But hard work and an ability to never give up has always been part of my DNA. And I'm so grateful today as I stand here to see that same strength in my sons, who I've always been incredibly proud of. Just in conclusion, at the end, I won't keep you any longer, because I know that Marty's mad to get up here. In conclusion, I'd just like, if I may, to dedicate this doctorate and this great honour to all the dreamers and the creative people, like Anya and Jack and you guys, all the dreamers and the creative people who continue to be misunderstood and undervalued. Dream on. Thank you very much.
We now come to our second distinguished guest, and I will invite Professor Sheeran to read the citation for the Honorary Doctorate of Marty. Barry?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now about to read the formal conferral for Honorary Doctorate, which is our highest academic honour to Mr. Marty Morrissey. These degrees are not simply awards, they are recognition of lives lived in the service of others through excellence, integrity and the uplifting of community. Today, we confer this honour upon a figure whose name, voice and spirit are woven deeply into the fabric of Irish life, Mr. Marty Morrissey. Marty is, to many, the voice of Irish sport. To others, he's a community builder, a storyteller, a cultural ambassador, and a man of exceptional warmth and character. But above all, he is someone who has always, consistently and humbly, brought people together. Born in Mallow, County Cork, and raised between the Bronx in New York and the parish of Mulla in West Clare, Marty's life began in the space between two worlds, urban and rural, Irish and international. That upbringing, spanning continents and cultures, gifted him with an ability that would become one of his greatest assets, the ability to connect. Before the lights of RTE, before Croke Park and the Olympic Games, Marty began, as many great leaders do, in the classroom. He initially studied medicine at University College Cork before shifting to microbiology and physics, and eventually completing a Master's in Education at NUI Galway. It was in this capacity, as a school teacher and coach, that he began shaping young lives, not just through knowledge, but through sport. Marty's tenure as a teacher in Clare was not simply a job, it was a vocation. And it was there, on the pitches of St. Joseph's Secondary School and the training grounds of local GAA clubs, that he revealed a remarkable gift: the ability to unite rival communities, to foster understanding, and to teach leadership through teamwork. It's often said that the GAA is the beating heart of rural Ireland. In many communities, it stands alongside the local church as one of the few institutions where all are welcome, where identity is forged, and where purpose is found. Marty recognised this early on. In his work, both as a player and as a coach, he didn't just build teams, he healed divides. In one now legendary episode, he formed a school team with players from 4 fiercely rival parishes, helping them put aside historical tension to win a Munster title together in 1983. It was in those moments, far from TV cameras or stadium lights, that Marty showed us what true leadership looks like: quiet, grounded, inclusive, and transformative. And then came the microphone. Marty's transition into broadcasting wasn't driven by ego, but by a deep love for Irish sport, and even more, a love for the people who play it, who cheer for it, who live their lives through it. From local radio in Clare to RTE national television and radio, Marty has brought to Irish audiences an authenticity that is increasingly rare. A broadcaster who doesn't just speak to the public, but speaks with them. He has called countless All-Ireland finals, Olympic contests, and international championships. His commentary has ranged from the poetic to the comedic, from the emotional highs of championship victories to the heartbreak of narrow defeats. He brings the humanity of sport into every home in Ireland. And yet his contribution extends well beyond sport. His work on the Today Show, the Morrissey Show, and RTE specials like Bloom has shown his ability to engage, to entertain, and to celebrate the vibrancy of Irish life in all its dimensions: music, culture, agriculture, and more. But what makes Marty truly remarkable and truly worthy of this honour is that he has never lost sight of where he came from. In a world that celebrates celebrity and surface, Marty has remained grounded. He has always returned to West Clare, to the people who shaped him. He is a regular presence in his community, still attending matches, still giving time to local clubs, still mentoring and encouraging the next generation. He was named Clare Person of the Year in 2014, a fitting tribute from his home county. But if there were a National Treasure of Ireland award, few would deserve it more. At Longford International College, we uphold a vision of education that is inclusive, socially engaged, and community-centred. We believe that education should empower, not exclude, uplift, not alienate. We believe in second chances, in lifelong learning, in the power of sport and story to shape minds and futures. Marty Morrissey is the living embodiment of these ideals. His life tells the story of resilience, curiosity, and the transformative power of human connection. He has shown that learning doesn't stop when the degree is earned, that leadership is as much about compassion as it is about strength, and that storytelling can be a profound act of service. And for our students gathered here today, especially those graduating with degrees in business, education and sport, Marty offers something more than inspiration. He offers an example. That your professional path can remain faithful to your values, that your roots are a source of strength, and that success is not measured in titles or trophies, but in the lives we touch. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, honoured guests, it is with the greatest pride and deep respect that we, the academic community of Longford International College, formally confirm on Mr. Marty Morrissey the Honorary Doctor of Philosophy in recognition of his extraordinary contribution to Irish sport, education, culture and community life. Marty, on behalf of all of us, thank you for your voice, your values and your vision. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Marty, Dr. Marty Morrissey to the Longford College family.
As I was listening to that citation, I was wondering who the hell was he talking about, to be honest with you. But anyway, here we are. President, faculty members, graduates, families, new friends, like Dr. Kevin Quaid, a great Limerick man who now joins us Clare people as losers in the championship in 2025.
Thanks, Marty.
Now, I just thought I'd mention that to highlight it. A great friend of mine wrote a wonderful song 33 years ago. It's a love song filled with beautiful words that create images that 3 decades and 3 years later is relevant to me as I stand here before you. Showered, sprayed with aftershave that could kill a horse, and dolled up to the nines to the point of even wearing a tie, which I can assure you is not my normal style. Let me quote a few lines from my friend's song. Sometimes I try and understand your reasons. You choose to feel the way you feel about me. And sometimes when I turn around and you're there like today, I want to say, why me? The song Why Me was written by Sean Sherrod, aka Dr. Johnny Logan, my friend. My esteemed colleague that won Eurovision in 1992 in Malmö in Sweden. It was his 3rd victory, as has already been mentioned. Today I share this stage for this momentous occasion with Johnny and his family. And I do ask myself, why me? When I first got a call saying I was being awarded an honorary doctorship by the Longford International College, I was filming a report for 6-1 News about the All-Ireland Hurling Championship in the middle of the fateful fields in Kilcormac, County Offaly, as far away from university as you could possibly get, I can assure you. When I got another call from my friend Karen, a few days later, it dawned on me she was actually serious about this, and this was actually going to happen. I honestly had to take a deep breath. I stood in Croke Park in front of 82,300 people, spoke to millions at this stage on TV and radio over the years, ran after supermodel Cindy Crawford at the Beijing Olympics, shouting, "Hi Cindy, I'm Marty Morrissey from Irish TV." To this day, you might be disappointed to hear that Cindy has never texted me or emailed back. And I just want to say, she better text now to Dr. Marty Morrissey, excuse me. All that being considered, it is a most humbling experience to be awarded an honorary doctorate, and I thank everyone involved who made this fantastic decision. I bet you're regretting it now. It's one thing to be recognised for broadcasting our sport, but it's something else entirely to be honoured by a centre of learning, by a college that stands for access, inclusion, leadership and excellence. Longford International College is not just awarding degrees, it's changing lives. And that to me is one of the highest callings that you could possibly get. I come from the parish of Kilmurray-Bricken in West Clare, comprising 2 villages, Quilty and Mullock, and the townland of Coor. Quilty is between Miltown Malbay and Kilrush and Kilkee on the wild Atlantic Way. We're going very posh in Clare now. We live on the wild Atlantic Way. And when you look out over the Atlantic Ocean from my beautiful village, you can almost see America with a short pit stop on Inishmore, 14 miles away on the distant horizon. It was and is a small fishing village with a strong community ethos and a love affair with sport that never quenches, never dies. I inherited that. I was brought up in the Bronx, New York. My primary education was in St. Anne's, a Dominican convent school where your colour, your nationality did not matter. What mattered was you, your heart, your thoughtfulness, your soul. My parents decided to return to Ireland when I was 10 years of age and bought the only pub, the only dance hall, the only chipper in the village. The only thing we didn't do was a funeral home, to be honest with you. But we were the centre of the universe. At least we thought that. But we weren't. We were an integral part of a wonderful community that I'm very proud of. Like many in Ireland, my upbringing was shaped by two institutions that anchored us all, the local Catholic Church and the local GA Club. They gave rhythm to our weeks. One gave us quiet reflection and the other gave us noise and joy and sometimes heartbreak. I'm referring to our football team mainly there. But both gave us something even more precious, a sense of community, a sense of pride. This is us. This is me. This is where I belong. In towns and villages across Ireland, the GA is more than a game. It is the soul of the parish. It is where we teach our children not just to kick a ball or strike a slither, but how to belong. It's where we learn to win with dignity, lose with grace, and stand shoulder to shoulder with people we may never have met otherwise. And that in many ways is also what education should be. It should bind us together. It should lift people up, not just academically, but emotionally and spiritually. And it should give every single person a chance to say, I belong here. And today you belong to Longford International College. What Longford International College has done so beautifully is reimagine what higher education can be. This college hasn't limited itself to the traditional lecture hall. It has become a bridge between worlds, between sport and business, between lifelong learners and first-time students, between dreams deferred and dreams realised. When I was 16 years of age in St. Flannan's College in Ennis, I hadn't a clue what I wanted to be. Not a notion. My mother wanted me to be a priest, but I discovered girls, and that ended mother's dream completely. I got enough points to go to UCC, but I was too young, very unsettled, and changed courses. But in truth, I didn't really apply myself academically. But I really should have been given a PhD in socialising when I was 17 years of age. I partied every night. Hence, the Marty party was born, and I was only still in college. And it's still going strong to this day. The funny thing is, I never drank alcohol, never smoked, but was the last one home every night. Before I found a microphone, I found a classroom. I trained as a teacher, and in truth, I think I'll always be one. Some of my proudest moments were spent not on the sideline in Croke Park, but on the sideline of school pitches, helping boys and girls who didn't always get along, but came together under one team. We had parishes in Clare where rivalries ran deep. Many matches between my own club, Kinmurray Bricken, and the neighbours, Milltown Malbay and to the south Dunbeg, were abandoned or finished 12-a-side. But we loved the rows as well, let me be honest, right? But when you pull on that same jersey, in this case the school jersey, and fight for the same point, something changes. You learn to trust, you learn to lead, and you learn to forgive, and you learn to be one. And that's what sport and education have in common. They're engines of transformation. They don't just produce athletes or graduates. They produce people, resilient, empathetic, determined people who are ready to serve. And let's not forget, leadership isn't always about having the loudest voice or the fanciest title. Leadership is about showing up, listening. And listening to me, even as a broadcaster, is one of the great gifts. It's just to listen to what people are saying. Lifting someone when they're fallen. It's about saying, you can do this, even when they're not sure themselves. Despite what you see today, let me assure you, I was not always sure of myself, far from it. I started my broadcasting in the back of a tractor and trailer in West Clare. Very fancy, as you can imagine. Croke Park was not 160 miles away, but 160,000 miles away. I was rejected for 4 years by RTE, who were the only broadcaster at the time in Ireland, before somebody believed in me, somebody trusted me and gave me a chance. and gave me a career that I've loved. So what I would say to all of you, be resilient, be courageous, always be courteous. You can give out at home if you want, but don't say it to anybody. But never give up on your dream, whatever that may be. Never, ever give up. You heard it from Johnny, who's won so many Eurovision, an international star. And I feel very inadequate, although we're great friends beside Johnny Logan, I can assure you. In today's world, one that sometimes feels more divided than ever, we need institutions that champion inclusion, that make space for the voices on the margins, that understand that diversity is not a buzzword, but a blessing. Wouldn't we all be so boring if we were all the same? Look the same. Can you imagine 5 million Marty Morrisseys in Ireland? Jesus, I'd be scared of that myself, to be honest with you. I've travelled across Ireland covering stories for RTE, and I can tell you this country is changing. Our towns are more multicultural, our accents are more varied, and that is a beautiful thing. But for that beauty to flourish, we need educational institutions like Longford to lead the way in inclusion, not just in theory, but in action. Every person deserves a chance to succeed, to contribute, to lead. Whether you're from Ballymena, Ballina or Baghdad, education must be the great equaliser, not the great divider. And Longford International College is unique and is living proof that this vision is possible. To the class of 2025, I say this with all my heart. You've done something incredible. You've crossed the finish line. You've earned your place in the stage, on this stage. But more than that, you've shown yourselves and the world what you're capable of. Now, more than ever, the world needs you. We need you in classrooms and boardrooms, in communities and companies, on pitches and in parliaments. We need your energy, your perspective, your passion. Your education is not just a qualification, it really is a launchpad. So use it boldly and wisely. And when the doubts come, as they will, remember this greatness rarely announces itself with trumpets. It begins in small, everyday choices. Showing up for your team, in saying yes to the hard work, in speaking up to when it would be easier to stay silent. Never give up and be strong. I look around this room and I see future leaders, mentors, volunteers, educators, and storytellers. I see a generation not afraid to care deeply and act boldly. To President Emeritus Vincent English, you've been a great friend over the last 2 weeks, and I appreciate it, and thank you. To Professor Tony Birch, the President, and Ruth Forrest, who I met before, and I didn't know until today, the Vice President, and the entire Longford team, thank you for this incredible honour. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a team to broadcast any programme. There is no I in the word team. I accept this great honour on behalf of my wonderfully talented colleagues, from producers, editors, cameramen and women. To all the communities across Ireland who welcome me with open arms and into their homes, thank you for letting me tell your stories. I'll keep doing it for as long as they will continue to let me. And to everyone here, I leave you with the words of one of our greatest poets, Seamus Heaney. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. And they're beautiful words. It kind of endorses what I was saying about a launch pad, but he says it way better than me. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. So let's build bridges. Let's play the game. Let's tell the story. Let's party as much as we can. Let's never stop learning. And Johnny Logan, I know that I was going to sing us a song. I haven't told him that already, but anyway. Sorry, Johnny, I thought I'd land that on you. Thank you again, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Two years ago, no, only last year, we had our graduation at the Aviva Stadium, and my esteemed colleague Ruth did the closing speech, as she's going to do today. When she stood up to do the closing speech, there were gasps of amazement from the audience, because Ruth had the most sparkling pair of shoes you have ever seen in your life. And we thought, that's another hard act to follow. How can she surpass that particular sparkling occasion? Well, I think you can see today that she has. And I'll ask my esteemed colleague Ruth to give the closing speech of this ceremony. Thank you, Ruth.
God forbid they wouldn't be noticed. Graduates, it's a privilege and a joy to stand before you today as Vice President of Longford International College to celebrate these moments of achievement with you on your graduation day. This occasion marks the culmination of hard work, perseverance and personal growth. It also marks a new beginning, the start of your next chapter as professionals, leaders and advocates in an ever-changing world. Over the course of your studies, you have engaged deeply not only with your chosen subjects, but also with the foundation that underpins all our programmes here at Longford International College. We are all about personal and professional development. We've always believed that education is not simply the accumulation of knowledge, but the shaping of characters, values and purpose. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I am unapologetically the world's greatest fan of the Eurovision Song Contest. Fun fact, for any of you who didn't know already, Ireland has won the Eurovision contest more than any country, including Sweden, in the Eurovision Song Contest, with 7 wins. And as we've already mentioned, our honorary graduate here at the Doctors, Johnny Logan, has been so key to that. I grew up on the Eurovision contest and have deep associations with it. And so many of the words of many of the titles of the winning, I'm going to keep dropping that, Irish songs are potentially formative and thus resonate with me at a deep level, and they cause me to reflect. On the day that my father died, in 10th of May 1987, I was with him in the hospital in his last hours, and one of the conversations we had on that day included sharing our delight over the fact that Dr. Logan, winning the Eurovision the night before for a second time with Hold Me Now. Little did I know that afternoon that this was going to become such a poignant memory for me. Then, years later, on 15th of May 1993, I paced the labour ward here in Dublin, hours away from having my first child, to the strains of Niamh Kavanagh, winning the Eurovision for Ireland with In Your Eyes. When I reflect on this song, I often wonder what people see when they look in my eyes, as a daughter, a sister, a mother, a friend, a tutor, a colleague, a citizen. You might ask yourselves too, what do people see when they look in your eyes? Is it clear? Is it authentic? As you step forward into new roles, remember that the most effective leaders are not those who speak the loudest, but those who listen, who reflect, who ask questions, like Ireland's 1967 entry by Sean Dunphy, which was narrowly pipped to the post with "If I Could Choose." In the context of your graduation, the reference to "if I could choose" serves as an invitation to each graduate to make intentional, values-based decisions in both personal and professional life. If paraphrased, it might ask, if I could choose the kind of leader I want to be, the kind of colleague, the kind of citizen, what would I choose? And that question isn't rhetorical. You can choose. You can choose to be a voice for inclusion, an agent for equality, and a model of respect in your communities and workplaces. The world needs graduates who are not only skilled, but socially conscious. With your education comes a responsibility, a duty to use your learning to advocate for those whose voices are too often unheard. In doing so, you live the true meaning of professional integrity and social justice. The Eurovision Song Contest gives expression to that voice. Think of the aforementioned Why Me, Ireland's 1992 winning entry, composed by Dr. Johnny Logan and sung by Linda Martin. Why Me is a song that includes a question so many people ask when asked to step up. Let your answer be, why not me? Why not be the one who mentors a colleague, who challenges injustice, who speaks up when others remain silent? Think also of Dana's All Kinds of Everything, a gentle reminder that what truly matters in life is found in the everyday moments, the kindnesses, the differences, the celebrations of what makes us uniquely human. Cherish those moments. Honour diversity, not as a slogan, but as a lived reality. And finally, Shay Healy's and Dr. Johnny Logan's What's Another Year? Let it remind us that life is a series of chapters. Keep learning, keep growing. This year may mark the end of your studies, but not the end of your becoming. Education at its best creates space for understanding and nurtures the roots of tolerance. It invites a broad, generous vision of what it is to be human. My hope is that you carry on that vision and bring it with you wherever you go. Sing those songs if you like, but more importantly, act them, be them. You are ready? Go forward with courage, with care and compassion. We are proud of you and always will be. Class of 2025, 12 points and congratulations.